Hello students, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning about the differences between a unitary state and a federal state. Here we will be comparing between United Kingdom, which is a constitutional monarchy where the parliament is sovereign, and United States, which is a federal republic where the constitution is supreme. At first, we need to understand the core differences between a unitary state and a federal state. In a unitary state, there's a single source of authority. There's a single central all-powerful government for the whole country. All governing powers originates from the central government. The regional or the local bodies that exist in that particular state, they're there only because the central government have granted them authority. On the other hand, in a federal state, there is division of power. In a federal state, there is one central government along with a state government for each province. So power is constitutionally divided between a central government and regional governments. Neither level can unilaterally abolish the other because they're getting the power from the constitution. Secondly, in a unitary state, the subnational governments receive power through the process of devolution or through the statutes or laws that are made by the center. So the center can expand these powers, reduce these powers or revoke these powers at any point of time. On the other hand, in a federal state, the powers are constitutionally protected. Each tier of the government draws its authority directly from the constitution. Changing the power balance would require formal constitutional amendment. Thirdly, in a unitary state, there is uniform legal framework. Laws and policies tend to apply uniformly across the entire territory. So, one national legal system governs all regions in a unitary state. Whereas in a federal state, citizens live under two layers of law. Okay, so there are federal laws and there are state laws, and laws can significantly differ from region to region on issues like taxation and education. The examples of a unitary state are United Kingdom, France, Japan, China, New Zealand. On the other hand, examples of federal state are United States of America, Germany, Australia, India, Canada. Let us see how power flows in a unitary state and in a federal state. In a unitary state, a single central government delegates power to the regional governments, who in turn delegates power to the local governments. So power in a unitary state flows from top to the bottom. The central government can revoke the power delegated by it at any point of time. On the contrary, in a federal state, it is the constitution which grants power to the central government and the state governments. These powers are exercised by the federal agencies and by the state legislatures. So power in a federal state is constitutionally shared. Neither level can override the other. There are certain similarities between the governments of UK and USA. Shared democratic foundations. Both the United Kingdom and the United States are founded on the principle of popular sovereignty, where the governmental authority is derived from the consent of the governed. So citizens in both nations participate in regular, free and fair elections to choose their representatives. Next is bicameral legislatures. A structural similarity between the two governments is the presence of a bicameral legislature. What does it mean? It means that the legislative power is divided between two distinct chambers. In the United Kingdom, The two chambers in the legislature are the House of Commons and the House of Lords. And in the United States, this consists of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Next is independent judiciaries. Both the United Kingdom and the United States maintain a system of courts that operates independently from the executive and the legislative branches. So what happens is this judicial independence upholds the rule of law and ensures impartial justice. Next is both the countries use first past the post to elect the candidates. In this system, the candidate with the most votes in each district wins, even if they don't have an absolute majority. But the way first past the post shapes politics is quite different in each country. In the US, first past the post is used to elect members of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. In these races, candidates compete in individual districts or states, and whoever gets the most votes wins. These elections are focused on representing the people of the state or that particular state or district directly. In contrast, the UK uses first past the post to elect members of parliament in single member constituencies. The party that wins the most seats but not necessarily the most votes usually forms the government. This means a party can win a majority of seats without winning most votes nationally if its support is spread efficiently across many areas. The key differences between United Kingdom and United States in terms of power distribution and administration are as follows. Firstly, in United Kingdom, there is centralization of power. There's a single central government. Sovereignty resides entirely in Westminster. The regional bodies, they have been given powers by the central government, which can be revoked at any point of time. On the other hand, in United States, there is division of power. The powers of the federal government they have been specifically laid down in the constitution, and the states have been prohibited to exercise these powers. By the 10th Amendment, those powers that have not been given to the federal government by the constitution, they have been reserved for the 50 states. Secondly, in United Kingdom, there's single administration. Every citizen of UK is bound by one system of laws. There's a single central parliament and a single central executive, and there is a single uniform system of law and administration for the whole country. On the other hand, in United States, there is dual administration. The citizens of USA, they have to obey two sets of laws, the laws made by the central government and the laws made by the state in which he or she is residing. Thirdly, in United Kingdom, there is parliamentary system of government. The monarch is the ceremonial head, while the Prime Minister is the real head. The monarch is the head of the state. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet together comprise a crucial decision-making body for the whole country. On the other hand, in the United States, there is presidential system of government. The US president is both the head of the state and the head of the government. Let's understand the difference between United Kingdom and United States in terms of their constitutional framework. Number one, the Constitution of United Kingdom is unwritten and uncodified. When we say unwritten, we mean that there is no accurate and compact document that can be referred to as the British Constitution. The main reason for this is that the Constitution of UK is founded on customs and political traditions that are not codified in any text. So, the United Kingdom has a constitution which is not contained in a single written document. Instead, it is a collection of statutes, conventions, judicial precedents, and historic texts like the Magna Carta of 1215. On the other hand, the Constitution of United States is written and codified. USA has a constitution which is a single written document ratified in 1789, which clearly defines the structure, powers, and limitations of the government. Number two, the Constitution of UK is flexible. Any amendment to the Constitution requires only a simple act of the Parliament, where no special supermajority or ratification process is needed. On the contrary, the Constitution of USA is rigid. To amend the US Constitution, 2/3 vote in both the chambers of the Congress is needed, plus ratification by 3/4 of the states of USA. Number three, in United Kingdom, the Parliament is sovereign. The UK Parliament at Westminster is the supreme legal authority. The laws made by the Parliament cannot be struck down by any court. On the other hand, the Constitution of United States is supreme. It is the supreme law of land. Federal and state laws, if they conflict with the constitutional laws, then those laws can be struck down by courts. Now let us understand the difference between United Kingdom and United States with reference to the judiciary and individual rights. Number one, the UK Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal. However, it cannot strike down the laws or the acts made by the Parliament. What can it do? It can only review the administrative decisions and resolve conflicts or disputes related to devolution of power. On the other hand, the US Supreme Court can exercise judicial review, which means it can declare federal and state laws as unconstitutional if those laws are in conflict with the Constitution of USA. Now, this power of judicial review was established by the Marbury versus Madison legal case, in which on February 24th, 1803, the US Supreme Court first declared an act of the Congress unconstitutional, thus establishing the doctrine of judicial review. Number two, in United Kingdom, there is single citizenship. Everyone in United Kingdom has been given a single uniform British citizenship. On the other hand, in United States, there is dual citizenship. Everyone enjoys both the citizenship of the USA as well as the state in which he or she is a native citizen. Number three, with reference to the civil rights, the English Bill of Rights was enshrined in law by an Act of Parliament in 1689 following the Glorious Revolution of 1688. In 1998, the Parliament enacted Human Rights Act, which incorporated the rights that are contained in the European Convention of Human Rights. On the other hand, in the United States, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution as amendments. They have been subject to several interpretations and judicial review by the Supreme Court, leading to many landmark decisions relating to the rights and freedom of the individual. So the important points to remember are as follows. The United Kingdom is a unitary state, whereas the United States is a federal state. In the United Kingdom, the constitution is flexible and uncodified, whereas in the United States, the constitution is rigid and codified. In the United Kingdom, the parliament is supreme. On the other hand, in the United States, the constitution is supreme. In the United Kingdom, there is devolution of power. The central government delegates power to the local governments. On the other hand, in the United States, there is division of power. The Constitution divided power between the central government and the state governments. In the United Kingdom, the judiciary cannot override the parliament, as the parliament in the United Kingdom is sovereign. Whereas in the United States, the judiciary has been given the power of judicial review. It can strike down laws made by the central government and the state government if those laws are in conflict with the provisions of the Constitution. In the United Kingdom, the Human Rights Act was enacted by the Parliament in 1998. So the rights are statutory. In the United States, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution as amendments. So the rights are entrenched. In the United Kingdom, there is devolution of power. There are local governments and the local government councils and devolved assemblies in the UK, whereas in the United States, the 50 states have their own constitutions. So to conclude, both the systems balance democratic governance with distinct approaches to sovereignty, rights, and the distribution of power. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do click the like button and subscribe to my channel.